Picture this. The person who taught you how to tie your shoes now can't remember your name. The person who bandaged your scraped knees now needs you to help them eat. I experienced this with my mama in the 1990s. Sophia's experiencing it right now with her father. But here's what's gonna surprise you about both of our caregiving journeys. The moment when everything changed for both of us wasn't when our parents got worse. It was when we stopped trying to bring back who they used to be and started loving who they are now. But see, we think caregiving is about keeping our parents the same, about fighting against aging, about preserving who they were. But what I learned from my experience and what Sophia's learning right now is that caregiving is really about learning to love someone through their transformation into someone you don't recognize. Let me take y'all back to 1994. My mama, Eloise Harvey, is 78 years old. Still sharp as a tack, still the strongest woman I know. She raised 7 kids, worked multiple jobs, never complained about anything. To me, she was invincible. Then I start noticing little things. She repeats stories during phone calls. She forgets where she put her purse. She calls me Robert sometimes. That's my brother's name. I brush it off. Mama's just getting older, I tell myself. This is normal. But then comes the phone call that changes everything. It's my neighbor, Mrs. Johnson. Steve, she says, you need to come check on your mama. I found her in my backyard at 2 a.m. looking for her garden. She seemed confused about where she was. I rush over to Cleveland, and when I walk into my mama's house, I find her sitting at the kitchen table, still in her nightgown, trying to fold laundry that's already been folded. Mama, I say, what are you doing up so late? She looks at me with these confused eyes and says, who are you? And what are you doing in my house? Y'all, in that moment, my heart shattered into a million pieces. The woman who knew everything about me, who could read my face before I even spoke, was looking at me like I was a stranger. The doctor's diagnosis was Alzheimer's disease, early stages. He explained it would progress, that she would gradually lose more of her memory, more of herself. The person you knew is still in there, he told me, but she's going to need more and more help accessing that person. I thought I could handle it. I thought love and determination could slow it down, maybe even stop it. I was wrong. Over the next 3 years, I watched my strong, independent mama become someone I didn't recognize. Some days she thought I was her husband. Some days she didn't recognize me at all. Some days she was scared of me. The hardest part wasn't the practical stuff, hiring caregivers, managing medications, making her house safe. The hardest part was grieving the loss of my mama while she was still alive. Now fast forward to last month. I'm in Seattle doing a motivational speaking event. And during the Q&A, this woman raises her hand. She's composed, professional looking, but I can see the exhaustion in her eyes. Mr. Harvey, she says, how do you care for someone you love when they don't remember they love you back? After my talk, she approaches me. Her name is Sophia Chen. She's 45 years old, works as a marketing director, never married, no kids. For the past 2 years, she's been her father's primary caregiver. Mr. Harvey, Sophia tells me, my father, David, was a brilliant man. He came here from Taiwan in 1975, became an engineer, worked his way up to senior management at Boeing. He taught me that intelligence and hard work could overcome any obstacle. Sophia describes growing up with a father who could fix anything, solve any problem, answer any question. He helped her with math homework, taught her how to change a tire, walked her through her first job interview. 2 years ago, Sophia says, I started noticing changes. He'd repeat the same story 3 times in one conversation. He got lost driving to the grocery store he'd been going to for 20 years. The diagnosis, vascular dementia, caused by a series of small strokes that damaged his brain tissue. Sophia tells me the doctor explained that Dad's brilliant mind was basically short-circuiting. Some days he's completely lucid, remembers everything. Other days he thinks I'm his wife or his mother or a stranger trying to steal from him. Sophia describes the same emotional roller coaster I experienced. The confusion, the grief, the exhaustion of caring for someone who's physically present but mentally disappearing. Last week, she says, I was helping him eat lunch and he looked at me with these frightened eyes and said, who are you? Why are you in my house? I want to go home. Sophia starts crying as she tells me this. Mr. Harvey, we were sitting in the house he's lived in for 30 years and he wanted to go home. I realized that home for him isn't a place anymore. It's a time when his mind worked, when he knew who he was. The practical challenges are overwhelming too. Sophia's spending $6,000 a month on round-the-clock care. She's taken family medical leave from work twice. She's exhausted, financially strained, and emotionally depleted. But the worst part, Sophia says, is the guilt. Guilt that I sometimes get frustrated with him. Guilt that I sometimes wish this was over. Guilt that I'm not doing enough, not patient enough, not good enough to care for the man who gave me everything. Now, let me tell you what I told Sophia, because this is the lesson that saved my sanity during my mama's decline. See, what both Sophia and I had to learn is that caregiving isn't about preserving the past. It's about honoring the present. Our parents aren't broken versions of who they used to be. They're whole people dealing with a disease that affects their memory and cognition. When my mama looked at me and didn't recognize me, I spent months trying to remind her who I was, showing her old photos, telling her stories about my childhood. I was trying to bring back the mama I remembered, but that approach was torturing both of us. I was frustrated that she couldn't remember, and she was confused by my insistence that she should. The breakthrough came when I stopped trying to be her son from the past and started being her friend in the present. Instead of saying, "Mama, it's me, Steve, your son," I started saying, "Hi, I'm Steve, and I'm here to spend time with you." When Sophia's father asks who she is, instead of trying to convince him she's his daughter, she now says, "I'm Sophia, and I care about you." Both of us learned that the goal isn't to restore their memory. It's to create new moments of connection with who they are now. Y'all want to know what happened when I stopped fighting my mama's Alzheimer's and started accepting it? I discovered a version of my mama I'd never met before. Without the weight of being the strong one, without the responsibility of taking care of everyone else, she became playful, curious, sometimes even silly. One day, she couldn't remember my name, but she spent an hour laughing at my jokes. She didn't know I was her son, but she enjoyed my company. In that moment, I realized that love doesn't require memory. It just requires presence. My mama passed away in 1997, but the last year of her life, when I stopped trying to bring back who she was and started loving who she had become, was some of the most precious time we ever spent together. And Sophia, 3 weeks after our conversation, she had her own breakthrough moment. I was sitting with Dad, she tells me, and he was having one of his confused days. He didn't know who I was, but he seemed agitated. Instead of trying to convince him I was his daughter, I just sat with him quietly. After a few minutes, David took Sophia's hand and said, "I don't know who you are, but you have kind eyes. Thank you for being here with me." In that moment, Sophia says, I realized that connection doesn't require recognition. Love doesn't need memory. My father might not remember that I'm his daughter, but he can still feel that I care about him. Sophia started approaching her father's care differently. Instead of mourning the brilliant engineer he used to be, she started appreciating the gentle, curious person he had become. He might not remember my name, she says, but he still lights up when I walk into the room. He might not remember our conversations, but he laughs at my stories every time I tell them, like he's hearing them for the first time. So here's your homework, and this is for everyone who's caring for an aging parent or preparing for that reality. First, understand that grief and caregiving is complex. You're mourning the loss of who your parent was while still caring for who they are. It's okay to feel sad, frustrated, and exhausted. Those feelings don't make you a bad caregiver. Second, focus on connection, not correction. Don't spend your energy trying to restore their memory or fix their confusion. Spend your energy creating moments of joy and comfort in the present. Third, accept help and set boundaries. Caring for an aging parent is not a solo journey. Use professional services, accept help from family and friends, and remember that you can't pour from an empty cup. Fourth, take care of your own physical and mental health. Caregiver burnout is real and dangerous. You can't care for someone else if you're not caring for yourself. Fifth, find the gifts in the journey. Both Sophia and I discovered unexpected blessings in our caregiving experience, new kinds of connection, deeper patience, and a different understanding of what love really means. If you're caring for an aging parent right now, remember this: you're not trying to keep them the same. You're helping them navigate change with dignity and love. Sophia learned what I learned 27 years ago. The person your parent becomes during their decline is still your parent. They might not remember your shared history, but they can still feel your love. Your parent with dementia isn't a broken version of who they used to be. They're a complete person dealing with a disease that affects their memory and cognition. Some days will be harder than others. Some days they'll remember everything. Some days they'll remember nothing. But every day you have the opportunity to show up with love, patience, and presence. The goal isn't to bring back yesterday. The goal is to make today as comfortable, dignified, and loving as possible. Y'all remember that. Caregiving is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but it's also one of the most important. You're giving back to the person who gave you life, and that matters more than anything else. Your aging parent doesn't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be present. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is simply sit with them and let them know they're not alone. Because at the end of the day, love isn't about memory. It's about showing up. And showing up is exactly what you're doing.